Hey up, Rock God 2004 back with another video for you. I am going to do the second part of the Iron Maiden UK first pressing LPs on vinyl. It seems to have been a little bit more popular than I thought, so if you've watched the first one, enjoyed it and commented or liked or whatever, thank you very much. I do appreciate it because I was a bit unsure how it was going to go. Before I get started, I'd just like to thank John from Mondo Chelloveck Movies for last night's video nasty live stream. Cheers, John, mate. I'll leave a link for his channel below. An absolute ball. It's felt like absolutely ages since we did one, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the next one with John and Michael for the Evil Dead special one, and I'll leave a link to Michael's channel below as well. Although it's an Evil Dead special, it won't be just the first Evil Dead. We'll probably be doing the sequels and what have you as well, but you need wait you see Michael's Evil Dead collection. Unreal, definitely worth waiting for. So yeah, I'll leave links to those two below, and I'll leave a link to the first part of this for anybody who's missed it, but if you like your Iron Maiden. So yeah, let's get cracking with the Iron Maiden UK first pressing albums on vinyl, part 2. So the last album of part 1 was the double live After Death album, and I think that was the first time since the debut that they'd actually had a break from a studio album, because the first album was 1980 up until 84, which was Power Slave. So that was like 5 albums in like 5 years on the trot. 80, 81, 82, 83 and 84. 85 came the live album, so I think that was like kind of the first rest that they got. After 85 they came back with a new album, bit of a new sound. They tried something different. They started experimenting with guitar synths, and this record absolutely blew me away when I first heard it. It's still a brilliant album. The state stands up really, really well. It's a big fan favourite, and it looks like it's going to have a massive part in next year's Future Past tour. This was also the first time I ever got to see them live on this very tour, and I almost cried. And it is, of course, 1986's Somewhere in Time. A lot of people think this is the best artwork on any Maiden release. It's not my favourite, I'll be honest. As really good as it is, it's the futuristic thing. I'm more of a basic Eddie Killer type of person, like Killers. I find that much more appealing. I don't know whether that stems into the horror stuff or what. But for this, it's futuristic, and it's futuristic, and it is also very busy. You could sit and watch this, look at this even for hours, and find something new every time. I think it was the most complicated thing he ever did, because I'm pretty sure he has said in the past he will never attempt anything like this again. And it even continues on the back. Unfortunately, it's not a gatefold sleeve, so I can't show you it all in one go, but it is pretty stunning, mind. And he even painted the band members on this one, which I think at the time was a very good likeness. But when I first heard the opening track on this, Caught Somewhere in Time, I was absolutely speechless. And then the second song on it was the first single off the album, Wasted Years, which was so different for them at the time. A lot of people think that's their favourite song, but it's certainly not mine. Sea of Madness, wow, I love that song, and I hope they're going to play it next year. Heaven Can Wait, that was overplayed for a few years, and it's not the best one on the album. The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner, which they only ever played live once, and it is available on, I think it's one bootleg album. I've never heard it live, but I've always loved that song. Stranger in a Strange Land, Jesus, what a song that is. Adrian Smith wrote both that and Wasted Years, which were the 2 singles off the album. Stranger in a Strange Land, wow, blows Wasted Years out of the water for me. Deja Vu, Dave Murray, Love that song, so underrated. Alexander the Great, I don't know what you're thinking. It ain't all that. I'm looking forward to hearing it live, just because it's something different. But I don't get like how people think it's the greatest one on the album, because it really isn't. But that's just my opinion, and if you don't like my opinion, I'm not particularly bothered. Yes, I do have the merch sheet in this. I always wanted that watch, and I never got it, and I've regretted it to this day, because I bet it goes for a fortune now. That was a very, very futuristic look at the time. You look at it now, it looks cheesy as hell. Let's see how much the t-shirts were on here. Somewhere in time t-shirt, £8. Is it 8 or 6? I can't see without my glasses. I think it's 8. Anyway, the inner sleeve. Lyrics on the other side. And I absolutely love the record labels on this. Derek Riggs, man, you can't beat him. Look at them. And side 2's the same. I absolutely love the fact that, like, as time goes on, they change the record labels, but most of the time they're always incorporated, like, you know, Eddie in, which I absolutely love. Because the Eddie on Sanctuary, for me, that was part of the initial appeal before I heard the song. Then when I heard it, I was like, whoa, that was it. I was hooked. So yeah, this is just a great album from start to finish. And if anybody's thinking of sort of listening to Maiden for the first time, I would say either start with this or the one that's coming up after this, because they seem to be the two sort of most radio-friendly albums, if you like. I can't think of a better word for it. But yeah, highly recommended. That is 1986's Somewhere in Time. Next up is probably my second favourite album of all time. I always sort of fight with myself in my head over my favourite album. Is it The Number of the Beast or is it this? Because it's so close. Most of the time, Number of the Beast just edges it. But this, wow, I love this album. And this is from 1988. And it is the first time that they had something which was called a concept album. And it's Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Love the artwork on this. Absolutely love it. Again, this stretches to the back. And if you see the full thing, it looks absolutely amazing. My very good friend Kelly bought me for my birthday a couple of years back snow globe of this. Oh God, it is absolutely beautiful. In fact, I'll show you it in a minute. And that's the back. And when you see it stretched out with that, it does look absolutely amazing. I remember when the first single came out before the album did, which was Can I Play With Madness? I was like, what the hell, this is weird. I loved it, but it was just so different. Even more so than Wasted Years. They carried on with the guitar synths in this. And then when the album come out, the first song on side 1, Moonchild, it is still one of my favourite all-time songs today. Never get sick of it. I love it. It's followed by Infinite Dreams. Again, another high favourite. Love that song. Then Can I Play With Madness? And then for me, which doesn't, I'm not saying it's crap, but for me, The Evil That Men Do is after it, the last one on side 1. And for me, that's the worst one on the album. Then there's Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, which is absolutely epic. The Prophecy, I absolutely love that. I think it's so underrated. The Clairvoyant, just a great catchy song. And Only the Good Die Young, that used to be my least favourite, but that's grown on me more. There's not a bad song on this. It's just a brilliant album. I love it from start to finish. And I got the merchandise sheet with this one as well. The book in the middle there, I do actually have that. I've still got that. What are we doing this for? It's like a photo book type of thing. There's the artwork. It's only small, but that's like the full painting, which looks absolutely amazing. T-shirts were going up a little bit now as well. $7.95 for a t-shirt. I wish they were that now. I really do. I love the jeans that they're rocking there, especially Nico and Steve. And there's the albums at the bottom, getting bigger with each release on these merchandise sheets. The inner picture sleeve to this, wow, it's one of the greatest Eddies ever for me. I thought this was the Clairvoyant, but I've been corrected that people say no, the Clairvoyant was the Clairvoyant single. This is the Prophecy. Look at that. When this came out, they announced on the tour that they were doing one and only one UK appearance, and it was headlining Donington when it was Monsters of Rock, before all this download crap got introduced of it. It was one stage, one day. For me, that's what it should be now. And what a lineup. Iron Maiden were headlining. Below them were Kiss. Below them were David Lee Roth. Below him was Megadeth. Below them was Guns N' Roses. Terrible. And then below them, oh, I missed and I was gutted because the bus was late, was Halloween. What a lineup. Lyrics on that side, and they have done different picture labels for this as well. That's side one. And that's side two. I liked as well when they did the re-releases of these, like the remasters. They kept all these original labels as well. I do have them, but like these are only first pressings, so I will be doing them in another video. So just because I haven't shown them in this doesn't mean to say I haven't got them. Yeah, love that album so much. And then a few years back, I got another copy of it from Sounded Out Records. Exactly the same. No merchandise sheet, but it had that sticker on. And then when I got it home, it had the same inner picture sleeve. I didn't realise at the time, though, when I got it, that was included in it, which makes me do believe that it was a promo copy thing. Because there's a proper Canopy of Madness promo shop there with the EMI logo on as well, which is a lovely little addition. And also a bit later on the same year, they brought out this absolutely beautiful picture disc. So you got the front artwork on like the back sleeve thing. You got this banner, which is cheap and tacky plastic, but it came part of it. I've still got it there, unused. The A side of the record was the same as that. And I don't know why, but I just think it looks so nice the way they've curved the title around like that. And side two of the picture disc is that other beautiful artwork. I think it's one of Maiden's nicest picture discs, this. Not only is it like really, really outstanding artwork, but you got like that back thing, which with picture discs you don't normally get. They normally come in like just a plain plastic sleeve with nothing snazzy with them, and that seemed to be the start of like where things change for them. And the banner, it's just this like, I don't know, like a cheapo polythene thing really. It's nothing special, but if this is missing, it devaluates the record actually. And that's all it is. But yeah, it's all part of it. So yeah, definitely for me, one of the greatest albums of all time. That's 1988's Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. So before I move on to the next album, I'll show you that snow globe. This is the box it came in. Absolutely beautiful. Didn't expect this off Kelly, my friend. I was over the moon she got. I was absolutely gobsmacked. Look at that, and that's just the artwork. Even the bottom of the box. Look at that. How nice is that? Trying to get the snow to settle so you can, there it is, so you can see the eddy a bit better. The detail in that. It's strange because they've now released another one for the Number of the Beast. It's weird. My two favourite albums, and they're the ones I've done the globes for. But the Number of the Beast, it's the snow in it. It's not snow. It's like red and yellow, like because it's more fire to match it. It's weighs a ton this as well, but that is unreal. What a birthday present, yeah. Seventh son of a seventh son snow globe. Beautiful. After Maiden did their 1988 Donington headline slot, they announced on stage that they were going to do a little UK tour at the end of the year. So they did about 5 or 6 shows, I think. One of which was Whitley Bay Ice Rink. My God, what a gig. I will never forget that. I was so close to the stage without getting crushed because it was like a little barrier you stood on. I got a little nod and a smile from Adrian Smith because I was going, ah! At the time when he looked over. The sound was phenomenal. The eddy was unreal. You could see everything. And I'm trying to think who supported. I think it was it Danger supported? I think it was somebody like that. And then after that, it was Christmas, and then the following year, Adrian Smith left, which was like totally out of the blue. So yeah, exit Adrian Smith, enter Yannick Gers, who I remembered from being in Gillen. I can't remember whether I knew at the time about White Spirit or whether I found out later on. So yeah, they got to work on the new album with him, and this is the very underrated and very lowly placed in many fans' opinion 1990s No Prayer for the Dying. I love this album. I think it's a brilliant record. I don't get the hate it gets. All they did is they went back to basics. There's no like 10, 11, 12-minute epic songs on it. It's all like 3, 4, 5-minute songs. There's one song on it which I can't stand. I just think the song's rubbish. I don't like it. I've never liked it. And that's Mother Russia. I just don't like the song at all. The first single off this was Holy Smoke. Found out later on it wasn't supposed to be. Originally, the first single was going to be Hooks in You. And I love that song. It was co-written by Adrian Smith, so I'm assuming he must have started the writing and then quit before the album got recorded. But it's a far better song, and I think that's the reason that some of the artwork you see like on the t-shirt and also on the Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter 7-inch picture disc, it's the Hooks in You artwork, because I think the artwork was ready for the single. What an artwork, like what a cover that would have made as well. But yeah, I don't know why, but they went for Holy Smoke instead. And then Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter came out as a second single. It got released on Christmas Eve of 1990, and then on New Year's Eve, the following week, the charts came out, and it had gone straight in at #1, and it's been their only UK #1 single to date, and I was so excited. I met Yannick Gers, actually, on Christmas Eve of that year. I'd just bought the Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter single. I'd got the 2 12 inches and the 2 7 inches, which is all that was out at the time. And there he was in Middlesbrough. He stood in the middle of boots signing my stuff. I don't have the signed stuff anymore, but yeah. And so I met him on Christmas Eve. He kind of took the excitement out of Christmas for me. And there's the back. There he is. There's a track listing. No merchandise sheet with this one. It never came with one. I love that photo. Looks like a sort of a graveyard. It's probably Steve Harris's backyard, to be honest. A nice big close-up of Eddie's Fizzog there. On the US pressing, which I do have, beautiful red vinyl. This is all in black and white. And whereas the UK one's a nice hard card, it's really flimsy paper. It's been damaged at some point down one side because it's that flimsy. This is like, as I just walked out the shop with it, most of my records are though, but this one is like a brand new record. But this is the original 1991 with the picture labels. And side 2 there. So I'm going along playing this album over and over, bopping away. Picked up Kerrang one day, looked in. Oh my God, now available as a limited edition picture disc. Look at that. Tail Gunner, first song on the album, one of the best songs on it. That's the artwork for that. It was like a sort of a, it was like, to me, it was like a sort of a 1990 follow-up to Aces High, similar sort of content to the song. Love that die-cut sleeve. And then on the back, they actually put live shots of the previous tour they'd done. When they first played, I've seen them twice this year. The first time was at Newcastle City Hall, and it was like a bit of a rush tour. They called it the Intercity Express Tour, and Wolfsbane opened for them. And then they played again in December at Whitley Ice Rink, and Anthrax opened for them. I went to both. But some of these photos, I know that one is for sure. It says on there somewhere. But that one was taken at Newcastle City Hall the night that I was there. And there's the artwork. That's when they were doing the song Hooks and You. Maybe that one was as well. It does tell you on there that they were taken at Newcastle City Hall and Belfast. So this is the picture disc that I got dirt cheap, actually. Bear in mind, I already had all these years ago, but lost them all. So I rebuy them. And this looks brand new. And side 2 is the front of the original artwork, album artwork, sorry. I think I got this for cheaper than when I bought it brand new. I think I got this for about 12 quid, 15 quid, something like that. I got it just before the ridiculous vinyl boom kicked in, the resurgence. So this goes for like silly money sometimes. You certainly won't get it for 15 quid. And I'm pretty sure it was more than that to buy brand new when it came out. So yeah, there was that and that before it. So that's 1990s, No Prayer for the Dying. Now, this is where records now start to get silly money. This is where they started to go up in value. Early 90s. I think No Prayer for the Dying was probably the last sort of most commonly available one, but even so, it was nowhere near as many as the 80s pressings. But after that, that's when they started doing limited runs, because vinyl was definitely well and truly on its way out by then. So the next album, they pressed so many, and once they were gone, and that seemed to be the pattern right through the 90s and the first part of the 2000s, like 2000 to 2010 or 11. So the next album up was 1992, 2 years later, and it was Fear of the Dark. Original EMI pressing, double vinyl with that sticker on. They made it a double for better sound quality, because the songs were getting longer again now. Gatefold sleeve with the lyrics on one side, and band photos on the other. So, as with most of them, when you get that on Maiden inner sleeves, you don't get any picture sleeves. So these were just plain white, but they were poly-lined to protect it more. A photograph of like the dummy Eddie that was used, like I think it was used on stage and in the video. And it's exactly the same labels on both records, so I won't bother getting the other one out. It's identical, just with the different songs on. This one, I don't think, did it? Oh, it did. It did come with a merchandise sheet, because this was when they were starting to sort of get less in their releases. You got one with the next 2 albums, but only in the CD. But that's the merchandise sheet for Fear of the Dark. I remember these, all of the print ones. I remember these. I've still got that one. I never got that one, and I wished I did. And I don't remember that one. But there was a Hooks in You one, and I wish to God I'd have got that. This is how you can tell they were made for CD, even though it's unfolded and put on the album. But you fold it that way, and then again, and one of these was inside the CD sleeve. So this, yeah, Fear of the Dark tour. Only UK appearance yet again was Donington. I didn't go back for a second dose. I don't like festivals. And I thought they would do what they did with their Seventh Son of a Seventh Son and do a little tour later on. They didn't. So it took a year, 1993, then a UK tour was announced. But by then, they'd released live albums, and the tour was called after the live album. And the nearest they came to up here was Sheffield. So I went to see them, and the Almighty supported. And then it came out as well. I think on back of that tour it came out, that's when Bruce Dickinson was leaving. So this was Bruce Dickinson's final album before he nashed. I used to absolutely love this album from start to finish. I do like most of it, but now there's certain songs that irritate me. Be Quick or Be Dead. Be Quick or Be Dead went straight in at number 2. That was very nearly their second number 1, and I idolise that song. That's one of my favourite songs. From Me to Eternity, that always reminded me of AC/DC, but I do really like that song. Afraid to Shoot Strangers, I don't like it. It's too long. The content's a little bit depressing because it was about the whole Iraq thing with Saddam Hussein. When that came out, I got it. Yeah, I totally get why they did it, but the song does nothing for me now. Fear is the Key, I like that. Childhood's End, I really like that. Wasting Love, love that. Fugitive, I love that song. Chains of Misery, I really like that song. The Apparition was very strange, but I really do like it. Judas Be My Guide, I can't stand that song. It just grates on me. Weekend Warrior, I absolutely love that song. Fear of the Dark. When this album first come out, that was my favourite song on it after Be Quick or Be Dead. Now, they've played it live that many times, I can't stand it. I hear that, oh God, awful, annoying intro. Tss, 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 and I know what's coming. Slowed right down to what this version is. And then you've got to stand there and listen to 3 minutes of the crowd going, whoa, whoa. It gets on my wick. It just gets on my wick. And then the song goes on and on because they don't play it anywhere near as fast as the album version. I don't mind the album version still, but live. Ooh. If anybody is watching who's got anything to do with Iron Maiden, can you please tell them next year, do not play this poxy song. I'm done with it. And I don't care how unpopular that opinion is, but it is ridiculous. They drop loads and loads of songs live, but they continue with that. When they did Made in England 2014, it was the entire Seventh Son of a Seventh Son stage. So basically it was going to be Seventh Son on all the albums before music material, which it was. but they still played that song, which came out after Seventh Son. Give it a rest. It's so dull. Rant over. So apart from that, yes, it's a pretty damn good album, but it's not one of my favourites. And also, this was the first time Derek Riggs didn't do the Eddie, and you can tell, because it's nowhere near as good. Derek Riggs is the boy over these. So yeah, 1992, and Bruce Dickinson's final offering before he nashed, Fear of the Dark. 1993, they released three live albums, bang, 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 all in concession. So one came out, you were given a few weeks, bang, second one come out. You were given a few weeks, bang, third one come out, just like that. And these now go for serious money. Like I said, from Fear of the Dark onwards, this is when things were getting ridiculous. The first live album was like a sort of part one of two, if you like. This one was going to be stuff off Fear of the Dark back until Somewhere in Time. So it was like the later stuff, like the second half of the career. And the one after it was the older stuff from sort of the first Iron Maiden album up until like Peace of Mind, Power Slave era. And the first one, which now goes for ridiculous money, is a real live one. If you fancy getting this, I know it's expensive, but me personally, I would go for the UK one. It's the one that's like, I know they're all official, but I always think if I don't have the UK one, I don't have it. So this is the UK one, and it's very easy to mistake. There's a Brazilian one out there, and I think there's a Italian one. They're the ones I know of, but it's this one that goes for the most. It seems to be the most collectible for some reason. Again, in amazing condition. I was lucky to get this when I did. A lot of people say that like these are probably Maiden's worst live offerings, which I understand that. I mean, they're not exactly bootleg quality, but Steve Harris produced these in his Barnyard studio, I think, at the time. This does have a gatefold sleeve, which shows off the full Fear of the Dark Eddie. My original one of this did have a lyric sheet because I took it out the CD and put it in, but this one doesn't. So this one does have an inner picture sleeve as well, because there's no lyrics. There's a little note from Steve Harris there if you want to pause it and have a read. And then there's like live photography. Look at Steve Harris there. He's the man. And then I love this label. I did have a tattoo of this, and it was so bad. I eventually got it covered over with my Trooper one, but it looked nothing like that, I can assure you. I love that Eddie. And then on the other side is just the track listings. The UK one, I think it does actually say somewhere made in the UK, but also it goes on the actual serial number of the record on the top of the label there. On the back of the sleeve, it does say the number of the UK one separate. That's how you know you've got a UK one, because it's got that on and it's just EMI. They've all got EMI on, but I think they've got like the country as well on when it's the import ones. Be Quick or Be Dead, From Here to Eternity, Can I Play My Madness, Wasting Love, Tail Gunner, Evil That Men Do. It's up to Somewhere in Time, the other one, because this has got the Seventh Son stuff on. Friendship Strangers, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, Heaven Can Wait, The Clairvoyant, and The Dark Light. Wonderful. I also, after I'd seen them at Sheffield, I actually got to see them another time, which was August 2000? No, it was 1993. This is the same month and year my son was born. He was born on the 13th. I think this show was on the 23rd. He was only about a week or two old. And the only way we could get to this show was to win either in the fan club or win in Kerrang. I entered both, and I won in Kerrang. You had to say in so many words why you think you should go. Yannick Gers actually took mine out and he actually read mine out in Kerrang. My name was printed in. And the show was at Pinewood Studios, and it was for Bruce Dickinson's like leaving gig. It was his final gig. And they did it with a magician called Simon Drake, and I was there, on the front row, and I'm on the front row of the video DVD, hold me banner, I'm about that thin, and I look on right knob. But what a night that was. So that was Raising Hell. It was called Raising Hell. You can still get the DVD in the States. I've got it on import. I used to have the Laserdisc. I wish I had that again. And you can get the VHS of it as well. Never got a UK DVD release for some reason. But yeah, if you've got it and you want it signed, and I'll sign it. I am jesting. But yeah, I was there for that, Sheffield, and at the Bruce Dickinson final show. Fun fact. So that's 1993's first of 3 live albums, a real live one. The second album that came out that year, the second live album that came out, was the one with the old stuff on, and that one, I love this Eddie as well, was a real dead one. They did both come out on CD, and then when they did the 1998 remasters, they stuck them both together as a double CD and called it a real live dead one. This one, I think this one's even more expensive than a real live one now. It took me a long time to get a new copy of this. I mean, I got them on the day of release, but like I said, I didn't end up getting all my own made stuff, so I had to rebuy it. But this, I got one once, and it come as excellent condition when I opened it, scratched to death. Got this one, took it out, it was like new. I thought, well, that's how it should be. I don't like that foil, it looks ridiculous. All the old stuff there, The Number of the Beast, The Trooper, Prowler, Transylvania, Remember Tomorrow, Where Eagles Dare, which they hadn't played live for years, Sanctuary, Running Free, Run to the Hills, 2 Minutes to Midnight, Iron Maiden, Hallowed Be Thy Name. Now that's a set list. Gatefold sleeve again. Inner picture sleeve. Is that another Rambling by Steve Harris? No, it's just bump. On the other side, live shots. And again, another amazing picture label of Riggsy. I love that. Track listing. When we were at the Pinewood gig, that's when Bruce Dickinson actually announced. We knew about it. It was already out, but he actually says on the stage that, like, the carrying on. He said they've got a new album coming out called A Real Dead One. So he actually mentioned it on stage on that last gig. So same year, that's 1993's A Real Dead One, and the third and final live album of that year, and the final album of this section of the video. This one came out after A Real Dead One, and this was a triple live album. They did it to look like a bootleg. I think it was billed as like an official bootleg. It's not a bootleg because it's still on EMI, and this is the entire Donington set from 1992, simply called Iron Maiden Live at Donington, August the 22nd, 1992. It was made to look like a bootleg. I can't remember how many were made. I can't remember. It was either 2,000 or 5,000. It wasn't a lot, and especially for the 90s. And they were numbered at the bottom there. But all the numbers were like skew with. They were numbered wrong. The amount of copies that they said existed, that was how many were made. But some of the numbers were over the amount. I don't know what had happened, but something went wrong. And on the back, it's just the track listing. if you want to pause, you've probably already got this on CD or something if you like the band anyway. Yeah, and there's the EMI to show that it's definitely an official thing. Triple vinyl. I'll only get the one out because they're all the same. There's nothing, no special inserts or anything. Just plain white sleeves, poly-lined. And the labels also look very bootleggish. And they're all the same, just like that. Nothing snazzy, no artwork, just the track listing. This is one of their most expensive plain black vinyl records to get. It's it goes, like, we're talking hundreds. It was very limited, not many. And also, I mean, when I got this, I had to get it imported, even though it's the UK pressing, made in England and everything. I can't remember that. I either got it from Brazil or Mexico. I can't remember which one it was. It was far. It was off Discogs, and the seller who I got it off was in contact with me all the time. Lovely, lovely fella. Great seller. Because I know places like Mexico and Brazil get a lot of stick, saying that stuff goes missing and it gets ripped off. I had no problem at all. And he was a genuine seller. He must have had a record shop or something. And this is like brand new. But this cost a lot of money years ago for me, and it's gone up in value now. It's not cheap. It's not the greatest recording. Produced and mixed by Steve Harris again. Had it not been for Fear of the Dark and Afraid to Shoot Strangers, I probably would have said I actually like the track listing better than Live After Death. But Live After Death, it's so much better produced and record. I mean, Martin Birch did it, so. But yeah, so that was a busy year for live albums for them. I think they were giving us something to tide us over because I knew there was no studio stuff, and we knew Bruce was going. So yeah, 3 albums from '93, that being the last one, and that's Iron Maiden live at Donington, 1992. And that's it. That wraps this part up of the UK albums, original pressings. So yeah, that's part 2 of the video done. I'm hoping to get part 3 done very, very soon because I am absolutely loving doing this. And I've had a few comments on part 1 saying that they've enjoyed it and they love to see the old presents and stuff. So like, I'm over the moon with that. It's made me want to sort of do it more, if that makes sense. So yeah, when I've finished the UK albums, I'll probably do the re-releases, but then I've got the singles and the 12-inch singles and EPs and stuff to go through as well. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this one as much. But don't be taking too much offence, because I'll delete your comment at my opinions of my favourite group and my records, not yours, mine. Just because I don't like the song Fear of the Dark. If you love it, wonderful. But I'm allowed an opinion, believe it or not, whether you get upset or not. So yes, thank you. Thank you so much for your support with these videos. Not even just the Maiden ones, I mean like the film ones as well. Because I didn't expect this at all. I thought I'd do 2, maybe 3. Nobody would watch them and I'd give up. Thank you for proving me wrong. I'm very humbled and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And the fact that I think I'm doing content that you enjoy, it makes me feel all warm and toasty inside. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. If you've subscribed, bless you. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. John pointed out I've got over 200 now and I can't believe it. I didn't know. He told me. I'm not keeping an eye on these things. But yeah, I really do appreciate it. I can't stress that enough. Thank you very, very, very much indeed. Keep watching. And I hope I continue to keep you entertained, if that's what you call it. So yes. So thank you very much for watching. all two of you. I'll put a link down below for the part one of this in case you want to watch it if you haven't already. And I will see you very, very soon on the next one. You take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon.